we've got our vehicles we're going to be testing for the best GT3 car. So we've got a 791 performance point GT3 car, of course, racing in the 800 World Tour Series. So we've got the McLaren, we've got the GT500. We also have, we'll have to cut it down just slightly, but we've got this GT500 from, what is that, Lexus. We've got the F4092, so what if you just beef up a non-GT3 car? We've got the 911 GT3 2022. Again, what happens if we just beef up a non-GT3 car and race it? We've got the Peugeot, the 4C. We've got the 458 Italia 09. We've got a beefed up older 2009 GT3 Porsche. We've got the Lamborghini Huracan GT3 2015. We'll have to beef up the points so it's a little more competitive, a little more horsepower needs to be added to run with the 800 touring cars. Same thing for the BMW M6 GT3 Sprint model, known since the update to be very, very controllable on the racetrack, but we'll test that. We've got the Audi R8. Also 576 horsepower. We need to beef up that power for the touring car, get it as close to 800 performance points as possible. And we've got the Mercedes AMG GT3 2020 with 614 horsepower. Coming in, the BMW, of course, they're making pigs these days, so it's also reflected in their race cars. So pretty heavy, I believe the heaviest car of the bunch. The F40 up here weighing next to nothing. But let's see, we got the Mercedes AMG GT3 right there. Prior to the update, very, very hard to control, but the fastest car. High risk, high reward with the Mercedes AMG GT. I found it until, prior to the update, horrifically difficult to drive. You really need to go into the corners slow and start powering out of the corner a little earlier. Braking too hard or accelerating too hard. Issues in the bendies. But, to be fair, let's go over to Ferrari. Give Ferrari a chance again, because that 458 Italia 09, once upgraded, was very, very difficult to drive. That would also fit in the 800 class. Oof, that is gorgeous. 2500. But let's get one of the standard GT3 cars right here, because that's definitely going to get allowed. I don't feel like being blocked out, spending 3.6 million and then getting blocked from the GT3 racing. So let's get this right here. One color, red. Oh, that is quite fine. Ferrari red. That is one fine looking vehicle. The 458 Italia, in my opinion, is on the top, easily on the top 10 list for most beautiful vehicles ever made, and for the last 30 years is on my top 3 list for most beautiful vehicles. Nice little dynamic scene to help us feel better about spending all that money, the moolah, the cheddar, the greenbacks. All right, looking good, Ferrari. So we're in that right now. Let's see, how can we squeeze some extra power out of this? Now, obviously for ranked racing, we're going to be put back to standard power, but let's just see what we can do with this here. Nothing in the sports, nothing in the club sport. Semi-racing, nada. Racing, is there a turbocharger? No, great. Already brake balance controller. Racing hard, comes with those racing hard tires. We'll want racing soft. We'll also need to go over here to extreme and get the let's go with intermediate tires, because they're racing full wet. As soon as the track dries up, they just burn right off. So That is, we're going to be stuck at 542 horsepower. Wow, that's going to be considerably slower than my boosted 791 horsepower Porsche. That's kind of hurt. Let's get more of a 700 class vehicle. Let's go test it out. So quick little test. Let's not do, we've got 600, 800. Let's not do a 60-minute race. GT Cup right here. Racing hard. Let's throw on the racing hard tires. So we're being brought down. Obviously, it's to test the handling of the vehicle. Obviously, if we're playing one of the races where it's 800 performance points max, we would not pick this vehicle, would not have the power required. Let's hope the top speed is already adequately adjusted. Oh, Dodge Viper driving into me. Nothing surprising there. No class, but what a beautiful back end to that Dodge Viper. I'll let you finish that rhyme. Oh, come on, Sunday drivers. Move it or lose it. There's that BMW we just purchased. If you catch a previous video. So all the vehicles are very closely, pretty much all identical in specs. It's going to come down to which car, down to the driver, and to which cars handle the best. So far, this Ferrari is handling great. I love mid-engine rear-wheel drive. And I need to learn how to drive better with a mid-engine rear-wheel drive because, well, that's what one of the vehicles I have in the garage. It's the 1991 Toyota MR2. Mid-engine rear-wheel drive, only weighing about 1,000 kilograms. Nice Bride race seats in it. New engine. Oh, I did not do that right. Ooh, yep, pass me on that. I messed up. But so far the conclusion is this vehicle drives really well. My 458 Italia, I guess the modifications I did to it ruined it. Because this sounds great, handles great. Easy to drive. The brakes don't feel as strong as the McLaren. And McLaren braking is better. And so far the McLaren GT3 car, the 650, is the most forgiving vehicle. Absolute pleasure to drive, but so far I'm not encountering any issues. Oh, I should have full pinned that. Where's my confidence? Should have just let go of the gas. Full pin, then let go of the gas in the bendy. Oh, come on, guys. Going through that corner a little slow. Yeah, you're getting past. Oh, the sound on this. Got past that BMW that passed me earlier. Oh, I'm on the brakes later, and that should give me... You guys are Corvette Sunday driving. And I gotta watch out for that Corvette. It's pretty violent. The American Cowboys, the Corvette and the Viper, pretty dangerous when you get near them. Push you right off the track, deliberately hit you. Oh yes, drafted behind him. Start braking a little bit at the 100. It's a little early actually. Oh, I can give gas in the corners, no slide out. Beauty, beautiful. Sorry Sunday drivers, you messed up on that bendy. And I'm gonna mess up on this one though. Oh no, great braking. Oh, love how the Ferrari handles. Yes. So that 40 could not do this. That 40 does not handle very well once you beef up the power. Oh, yeah, I messed up. Okay, Supra, fair enough. Now I am driving a manual with the paddle shift because, well, I'd rather be a little slower and enjoy racing. And also sometimes downshifting helps me slow down when I go into a corner too quickly. Slow down and not lose control like braking can at times, especially in an imbalanced vehicle. So here, just let go of the gas and then right back right on it. Pedal to the metal. Oh, trying some real last. That's okay. The brakes aren't as good as the McLaren. The McLaren I can brake at the 100 mark. And that was a failure on my part. So far, this sounds a lot better than the McLaren, but the McLaren does have better brakes on it. I don't think the track is wet in any way, so no fair comparison. Now the track's not hot and dry, which is the last time I tested that 100 marker braking was with the McLaren on a sunny day. Yeah, I should have cranked down the transmission on this if I can. Maybe not, because I don't think we can modify the vehicles in the professional style racing. So I like the display on the Ferrari. I don't like looking down on the digital at the complete bottom of the screen. Takes my eyes off the road. I do like that just underneath the steering wheel, top of the steering wheel marker. I've got my speed and the RPM. 3 quick half taps of the brake. First is getting ahead of me. He's gained just about 2 seconds, so I'm running laps that are a little slow here. But I don't know this car at all. It's the first time I've ever driven it. So 150 mark for braking. Okay, I could have gone between the 150 and the 100. .100 braking here. Okay, that was fine. McLaren takes that corner just a little bit better. So I'm going to give added points to the McLaren so far. I'd say this is similar to the Porsche 911. So it kind of comes down to, are you more for the German automaker Porsche, or are you more for the Italian automaker Ferrari? The fact that I have two 911s does make me quite biased. I like to drive cars in the game that I prefer to drive the cars I could actually afford in real life. Not new, both of my 911s are used in 1999 and 2000. Shelby GT350 in this game, I can tell you, is really hard to drive on the racetrack. But I can tell you in acceleration, straight line and not pushing it to the complete limit in the bendies. In real life, it's actually a lot of fun to drive. And unlike a Mustang GT with the traction control turned off, the Shelby GT350 with the traction control on lets you have fun. Mustang GT doesn't let those tires spin with the traction control on. When you turn it off, well, it's deadly. Whereas the Shelby, you can have all sorts of fun with the traction control on. It does spin the tires, the back end does go out a little, but you're not praying to stay alive. So I do love the Shelby GT350, just not in a race setting like this simulator. When you push it to the absolute limits, it's you got to be a really good driver, really good driver. It's a big learning curve, very high risk, high reward. Just like prior to the update, the Mercedes GT, the AMG Mercedes GT, very high risk, very high reward. The fastest of the bunch. Should not brake there, full pedal. Just as long as you got the nose pointing in the right direction, you can pedal through that bendy. Now the Ferrari Italia, is it good at curb jumping? Not bad. Maybe a little bit better than the Porsche 911. Porsche 911 curb jumping, if you catch the rear tires on them, you're gone. Like gone. The front's not bad. That was just a front. So we'll see if ever the rear end here catches. We'll know. It's not a very good test. I wasn't at a high G. I was at zero, no G's when those rear wheels hit the curb right there. The candy canes, as I like to call them. Can it power through a corner? Pretty well. I feel like the 911, I can do that just a little bit better. I would like to turn down the top speed on this vehicle, because 6 is basically useless. Oh, a little bit of very controllable when the rear end so far hits those. Let's hit them here. Very controllable. So this is a little easier to handle than the 911. A little bit of kickback when you let go of the brakes quickly, which the 911 does not have. So I'd say this is pretty even with the 911. Whether you want to go 458 Italia, just don't modify the 458 Italia to say now I'm going to take the less expensive non-GT3 Italia, 458 Italia. Buy straight up the Ferrari GT3. Spend extra dollars. Cheddar. Oh, this is nice. This is enjoyable to drive. Quite enjoyable. McLaren, I believe I finished 6th in this race. McLaren has a bit better brakes, and that means a lot to me because I like to really brake last minute. I also sometimes go into a bendy too quickly and like to apply the brakes while I'm in the bendy, and the McLaren is top, 10 out of 10 for that. Oh yeah, that was nice. This doesn't just sound great. Okay, let's see. Yeah. More points to the braking on the McLaren. Oh, okay, there. Little bit of trouble when the rear end hits the candy canes. Excellent car. Excellent. That is a very adequate pick. Now, unfortunately, I'm not a good enough driver to really get everything that I could out of that vehicle, but I'd say if you're a beginner to intermediate driver, the Ferrari with its mid-engine rear wheel setup is a fantastic choice. So 226.2, fastest lap. Fujita, what are you driving? The RX Vision GT3 concept. Okay, well, not okay. Concept car, whatever. Mazda. Circuit de Sport Francorchamps. 7th place when we're playing the real life professional experience. And not against other humans that will, you'll always have like the bottom 3 or 4, 5 positions that'll just do anything to push you off the track, just spear you. And that's not all that fun when you get taken out of, you pole position in, let's say, 6th or 5th, and someone just spears you right out of the race. Thank you very much for watching JCCR Adventures. Let's stay tuned. Hit the bell notification as we test out and learn what is the best vehicle to be driving. Now, of course, the best vehicle to be driving is going to be a mix of what you actually find visually acceptable. You don't want to be driving some nasty lump, but it's also about where your skills are at and what your learning curve is. And I like the Ferrari because there's no learning curve, very little learning curve to driving the Ferrari 458 Italia GT3 car. The McLaren, 0 learning curve. We'll test it out again, but 0 learning curve. It's just such a forgiving vehicle. We're going to test out these vehicles. I feel like the Dodge Viper is going to have a big learning curve, but high reward. Mercedes AMG GT had a, prior to the update, very, very, very high learning curve, but the fastest car, potentially, but very, very hard to drive. High risk, high reward. But it's definitely satisfying driving the 458 Italia if you don't mind, just visually and next to no learning curve. Very satisfying to drive, satisfying to look at, but dissatisfying in the sense that probably a car never be able to, buy, because it just doesn't make sense unless you have, 30 million in the bank account and you take the interest off that 1 year to buy one of these. It's just not a real world vehicle for most people. Now, I do have a friend who owns one, and he did offer me to drive it one day, but I got stuck talking to someone who was interested but not interested in buying a Ford electric vehicle, a Mach-E. They were interested in buying an electric vehicle, but for about half the price of what the Mach-E actually sells for. So I missed my opportunity to go drive the Ferrari 458 Italia. Now I had my Shelby GT350 at work that day, and it would have been a little switch. We'd have followed each other. He would have taken my Shelby, I would have taken his Ferrari, but maybe that's something. Still have a good relationship with him. Maybe that's something that will happen come spring if he doesn't sell his 458 Italia this winter. But gorgeous vehicle. If I do get to drive it in the real world, he did let me drive his Audi R8 when he had it, and I look forward to driving the Audi R8 in this game because I've driven it in real life. So thank you very much for watching. Stay tuned as we try out all the pretty much all the GT3 cars in the game. Oh, there's that McLaren that I love so much. No one was driving the Porsche 911. That's too bad. The Porsche 911, in my opinion, is a great all-around vehicle.